Hi everybody. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the process of setting up a paper that you're typing in MLA format. MLA stands for Modern Language Association, and so this is the style that I'm going to ask you to use when you set up your writing in a Google Doc or a Word document. Other English classes throughout high school and your college career may also ask you to use MLA format. So a few things that we want to set up to begin with. First of all, Google Docs will default to Arial. So we want to use Times New Roman instead of Arial for our font. And we want to choose 12 for the font size. Then we also want to look at the spacing because MLA format requires double spacing. So we want to click on these little up and down arrows beside what looks like a sheet of paper with some writing. We want to click double. And so that will set up the spacing for us. I'm going to use a sample student. The first thing that we want to do is in the upper left-hand corner, we want to type our student name. I'm going to use Rachel Green. Some of you may know her from a TV show. Rachel Green is the student in this case, the writer of this paper. Then I want to hit enter, and I want to include the teacher name. In this case, it's Mrs. Stuckey. I get a lot of people who misspell my name, so pay attention. It's EY at the end. And then we want to include the title of the class that we're writing for. So in this case, Pre-AP English 10. And then we want to include the date, except the date is going to look a little bit different than how we normally will write it. MLA format asks you to put the day of the month first, and then the month, and then the year. Okay, so we have that all set up. We're going to enter one time. Notice I'm not entering twice at any point because I have my entire paper set up to double space, so I don't need to. So after I've entered down once, I want to include, in this case, I'm just going to include a placeholder for my title because we always want to include a title of some sort. And I want this, instead of being left justified at the left margin, I want it to be centered. So I'll come up here to alignment after I've highlighted it and center my title. And then I'll hit enter one more time. I don't want my entire paper to be centered, so I want to hit this left align button to take me back to the left margin. Then to start my paper, I want to indent by tabbing just once, and then I'm ready to start typing my first paragraph. Whenever I'm ready to move to a new paragraph, I'm going to hit enter just one time again, tab again to indent that second paragraph. And so on throughout your paper. There's one more thing that we want to do in terms of setup. So if you've used MLA format before, you'll remember that each page is going to be numbered. And so we want to number our pages, and we also want to include our last names with each page number. In order to do that, go to Insert, go to Page Numbers, and then these options will pop up. We want this first one, the top left, that will put the page numbers in the top right of our document. Notice how it automatically gives me a 1. I want to move my cursor. Don't hit the backspace because you don't want to erase the 1, but move the cursor so that it is right in front of the 1. And then type your last name. And remember, my student last name here is Green. Okay, so then this will automatically number any subsequent pages that you go to with your typing. And then you want to make sure that this also is not in Arial, but is in Times New Roman 12, so that it matches up with the font of the rest of your paper. And then you can see that you won't have to do anything when you go to a subsequent page. If I act like I'm going over onto my second page, it's going to automatically include my last name since I put it there at the top, and it's going to include the page number. So that's how you set up your paper in MLA format. I want you to use this anytime you're typing any kind of formal paper to turn in for this class.